Friends, today I want to talk about curl and how you can use it to make uh, different HTTP verb requests and kind of go over it quickly in few minutes. So basically to use curl to do a get command, it's very simple. You can just say curl http example.com. Example, here is the URL. Let me show it to you in the terminal for a second. If you do it in the terminal, this is a get request and you can see you got the HTML page, and this is pretty straightforward. So instead of doing it through the terminal, I would also quickly show you in Visual Studio Code, you can use this extension RestClient to make the same call, and it's actually a lot more convenient. So for example, if you want to make the same request here, you can just select it, and on the Mac or on the Windows there is a key sequence for send. You can press that and you can see you got the response for the get, and that's pretty straightforward. So for example, now if you wanted to as part of your um, get request, you wanted to add some cookies, and the cookie value says registered and yes, and this is a free website that can accept such commands, and it echoes them back. So I'm going to use that as an example, and I'm going to select that and run this. And here you can see that the get request has been made, and also the cookie is being reflected back, so we know that the cookie was sent properly as part of the curl request. Other thing you can do is there is an HTTP verb called options, which is usually supported by servers who are compliant with HTTP. And basically, if you make that request, it will tell you what verbs that the server support. So I'm going to make that request. And if I make that request with the HTTP verb called options, you will see it comes back with access control allow methods. And these are the various HTTP verbs that are supported by this server. These are the most common ones, and you can see it supports get, head, put, patch, post, and delete. So as part of the get request, suppose you just want to get the headers and not really the body, you can use this curl command, and I'm going to show you the result of it. Is basically I get back this header information from example.com. So that's good. So let's say instead of the get request, as part of your testing or whatever you're doing, you want to use a post. You can use this post HTTP verb, which is normally used to create a resource. So you can say -x post. You're creating a resource. Content type is, say, let's say application JSON, and the data I'm sending to this sample JSON placeholder API is this. Title is John Doe, body is 30, user ID is 1, and this is a post create request. So it will reflect it back to say that the server got this, and you'll see this. So once I send that, you can see the request is essentially the data, it's reflecting back the data I had sent as part of the post to create this source, John Doe, body 30, user ID. So another thing you can do in HTTP is called a put. Put is basically used if for replacing a resource. So whatever resource you had, for example, at post like 1, I want to replace it with the value I'm sending. So this is the data I'm sending to replace it with, and we can try to run it and see what happens. And here you can see the only thing I did was I changed the title, for example, and it's now reflected back, so the put was accepted. Other thing you can do is, if your resource is very complex and have a lot of properties, and you only want to change one or two properties, instead of replacing the complete resource, you can use the HTTP verb called patch. And here, for example, I want to just change the title to this core, and if I run this, you can see that this reflected back saying the title is gore is being changed. So this is how you would use patch. And that other verb you can do is called delete in HTTP. Basically, you want to delete a particular resource, and then you can just use the curl x delete, and then you can see relating an empty value. So that means this resource is deleted. And this is not really related to HTTP verbs per se. But sometimes what happens is when you call a website, they might have moved the website to some other location, and then it will cause redirects. So if you want those redirects to be followed and go to the actual site in curl, you can also use this parameter called that location, and you can see it follows through and does that. So that's really all I wanted to demonstrate and explain to you the basic HTTP verbs and how you can use with curl for all your. Usually, it is used for testing and doing certain things. And so, thank you very much, and you have a great day.